Hi there, my name is Justina and I am web developer here at BabelQuest. I've been working with BabelQuest for over a year now, and my main responsibility is to build and maintain websites while ensuring they're well optimized for search engines. In today's episode of Behind the Hub, I'm going to share with you how we use HubSpot Website Grader to enhance our technical SEO routine. So let's dive in. Before we start, I want to clarify that the HubSpot Website Grader focuses primarily on the main domain, meaning that while some of the metrics can be applied to your entire website, the tool primarily evaluates your homepage. So let's keep this in mind as we explore what HubSpot Website Grader has to offer. Okay, let's generate a report together. For the purposes of this video, I created a dummy website, and I'm going to paste its URL over here and then press enter. And here we have it. As you can see, the report covers everything from performance and SEO to security and mobile friendliness. Each section is broken down to different metrics that give you explanations why they are important. And also at the bottom of the report, we have a list of recommendations on how to make improvements. Okay, let's take a closer look at the performance metrics. This is where things get interesting because we'll be exploring some key aspects of the website performance. We are talking about stuff like page size, page requests, and page speed. These metrics give you insights into whether your website is lean and fast or if it's carrying some extra weight. First up, we have page size. This metric tells us the total size of all the files on your website. We're talking images, scripts, CSS, and other resources that load when you start viewing the page. When I see this metric in red, what I like to do is check the page in a Chrome DevTools. I recommend doing this in an incognito window to eliminate any HubSpot editor or extensions elements that may affect the report. To get started, simply right-click on the page and select Inspect. Now choose Network from the top navigation and reload the page. Make sure that all is selected in the filter and then double-click on size. And this way, all the elements that the page consists of are ordered from the biggest to the smallest, meaning that on the top of the list, you have the heaviest elements on the page. In my case, the main problem of my website is the presence of these massive images. In order to make my page lighter and as a consequence faster, I need to optimize them. Maintaining image sizes at or below 100 kilobytes is generally recommended for optimal website performance. However, there are instances where achieving such a small size is not feasible, like in the case of my homepage and this massive image, background image in the masthead. As you can see, it takes a full width of the page, and basically reducing its size drastically would affect its quality. So therefore, we need to aim to find the perfect balance between the size and the quality. My favorite go-to tool in terms of optimizing images is TinyPNG. It's a free online image compressor, and I'm going to resize my images offline later on and show you how much it affected the metrics in the report. Now let's move on to page requests. Keeping the number of page requests low can be quite a challenge because we often strive to create exciting web pages with animations, background videos, sliders, and other JavaScript power elements. The more we add to our website, the more HTTP requests it generates. It's something we need to think about during the design stage because once a page is built, reducing the number of requests becomes harder. So looking at my example, I have 65 page requests on my homepage, and that makes us yellow. So obviously there is a space for improvement. If I scroll down to HubSpot's recommendation, you will see that they suggest having 30 or less page requests per page. In my opinion, it's rather unachievable, especially when it comes to a homepage. So what I'm trying to say is don't overly agonize over the number of page requests. While it's important to keep them at a reasonable level, it's not the sole metric that you should focus on improving. There are other crucial metrics that deserve your attention as well. But there are still things you can do to improve this metric, even if you're not a developer. One way to reduce the number of page requests is by replacing HubSpot CTAs with button-styled links. The reason behind this is that each HubSpot CTA sends 5 HTTP requests to a server. So if you have 4 CTAs on a page, you end up creating 20 extra requests. While CTAs can be beneficial for campaign tracking or A/B testing, it's important to use them wisely. Avoid overcrowding your pages with CTAs if they are not necessary. So if, like in my case, you see this metric in yellow, you should be pleased with yourself and move on to looking at how you can improve the page speed. When it comes to page speed, it's important to understand that it relies on various elements within the performance metric. Just like page size, page speed is influenced by factors such as number of HTTP requests, browser caching, image sizes, and more. All these elements are interconnected and impact the overall speed at which your web page loads. If your website is hosted on HubSpot, you are in a lucky situation because HubSpot takes care of certain elements for you, such as browser caching, compressing images to a certain level, and minifying JavaScript and CSS files. Now let's have a quick look at the minimal page redirects. They are important because excessive redirects can slow down your loading time, but also negatively impact user experience. Plus, chains and loops of redirection can waste your crawl budget. You see, Googlebot will only follow up to 5 redirects before giving up. So it's crucial to ensure that your website uses redirects only when necessary. Now you might be wondering, how do I find and fix these redirects? Well, that's a great question. Luckily, there are a number of free and paid tools available to help you identify your redirects. If you're on a budget, I highly recommend using Screaming Frog. It's an awesome tool that crawls up to 500 pages for free and not only detects redirects, but also highlights other SEO issues that you may need to address. Let me demonstrate how I use Screaming Frog to find and fix redirects on my website. I paste my website's URL here and then click Start. When the crawl reaches 100, it means that it's completed. And now you search for responses codes and redirections. Here is a list of all redirections that appear on the crawled pages. So this is the original URL, and this is the URL of the page where this previous one is redirected to. So now it's a question of finding where this link appears. If I click on it and then click in links, you will be given a list of all places where this link appears on. So now we need to find it and replace it with this one. Okay, I can see that the first page that my link appears, my redirect appears on, is a homepage. I'm going to copy this URL, go on my homepage, go inspect, Control F, and search for this link. I'm going to just reduce it to the last bit of the path. And when you hover over the highlighted link, it will show you where it appears on the page. So we can see that there's a first paragraph under the H2 heading. So now we are going to edit the page, go and find this paragraph, and just remind ourselves what we are redirecting this link to, copy it, and replace it. So this is how we got rid of the redirect. The last element of performance metric that we haven't touched so far are minified JavaScript and minified CSS. As in the case of browser caching, HubSpot will do it automatically for you. However, if you have your website hosted on HubSpot and they are flagged up in the report as not compressed, it means that there must be an error in the file that prevents the system from compressing them. To identify errors in the file, you can use online CSS validators such as Jigsaw. And the most common errors that I came across are missing colons or brackets in a file. Once you fix them, HubSpot will compress your files straight away. This is the end of part 1 of the HubSpot website grader video series where I discussed performance metrics. I hope you found the information helpful. In the next episode, I'm going to explore SEO metrics with you. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.